We start. My name is Akinwumi Taiwo Ademola. So, you know me for people here. But my enclave today is tax 2 writing. So I want to go. So I am going for the jugular vein of tax 2 writing. So such that within a very few minutes, not perambulating so much, I could break into the heart of this subject for somebody who is preparing for the exam. So I'm going to be talking about 4 major aspects of writing tax 2 that you don't want to miss out. 4 major aspects that most students make mistakes around, that if you split all mistakes, if you categorize all mistakes that students will make, that anybody will make in this coming exam or in the next exam, into categories, they would fall under these 4 aspects. So I'm going to be talking about those 4 parts intentionally, and I'll be very, very practical and skillful with it. So the first part is content related mistakes. In Ielts, it's not just about the packaging alone. It's also about what? Content. And what makes writing and speaking different is that writing and speaking do not reveal your packaging. It shows your what? Your content. It shows your content. Why? Because your face or the way you are dressed could show your package. But when you speak, people get to know what to have in yourself. The same way too, when you write, people get to have an overview of how deep or how shallow you are. So when you see anybody, Mr. Timothy, that gets less than 7 in IELTS writing, one major mistake that they make is that they always fail this part. Content. It's always content based. And one major mistake is this: misinterpretation of the question. It's one major issue. Of the key elements. This is applicable for both tax 2 and what? Tax 1 writing. So when you are given the IELTS tax 2 essay question, the first thing you should do is not to jump to write. You must do this thing before you start at all. You must be intentional to have a plan, then your writing time and your editing time. So in this planning time, the first thing you do as a smart person is that what? You read, you understand, you interpret, and you apply. There is my tax 2 question before me. In my planning time, what do I want to do? I don't want to be pressured by how people are writing. Leave them. No. Failure to plan is planning to what? To fail. So this is the most important part of the writing journey, the planning stage. But when you don't plan very well at this stage, what will happen is this: you will have written half of the page only to see that what? You have misinterpreted the question. They will be asking you to talk about younger family members, and you could have been writing about young couples, because the question read young family members, but in your mind, since you saw family, you talk about it like it's young couples rather. So you should be very careful to understand the synonyms, to understand the question part very, very well. Be intentional about it. Understand it very, very well. So do not misinterpret the key elements. And the only way you will not do that is to what? Is to ensure that what you plan. Read, understand. Because when you are done details to this, you can finish the whole writing within 25 minutes. Why? Because you have the template in your heart already. You have the skeletal understanding of what you want to write already here. So in your planning stage, what should you do? I said you will read first, Abi. You read the question, then you digest it. That is what? Understanding. You bring it into your cognitive department. You chew it in your mind. Okay. Try to understand all the nooks and crannies, the dimensions of the questions. How they said, do you agree or disagree? Understand what the agree part means. Understand what the disagree part means. Because sometimes if they say, if it says what are the advantages and the disadvantage, be sure that if you are writing about merit, you are not writing about reason. There's a difference between reason and what? Merit. You don't understand me? Reason for doing something might look to be like the merit, but it's not merit. Reason is cause, merit is benefit. You don't understand me? I may have a reason for doing something, and that reason is not beneficiary for me. So when you are arguing in terms of benefits, advantage and what? The advantages LCRB, don't be arguing in terms of what? Just blatant reason. It should be reasons with what? With benefit. If you're arguing with reason, it should be reason with benefits, not just the cause. You understand? Else, you will have been writing cause for benefit and benefit for cause. The same thing with discussion essay, where you have discussed both views, Abi. Both views. They will give you two issues of life. Nurses are amazing individuals, while others feel that they are terrible human beings. Discuss these views and express your opinion. Discuss these two perspectives. So you must firstly sit down and think along what the bad side of nurses and the good sides in these parts. So that if you are going to give your opinion, you will know why you are supporting them in the long run. So this part is the reading, you digest. So the next one is now what? You interpret. So in interpretation now, what is now means is this. You try to jot down. This means yes, you jot down your points. You jot them down. Maybe I'm to write advantages and disadvantages essay. I will write two advantages and like I will jot them down on my question paper. Why do I want to do that? I want to do that because I don't want to give space for me having started with one, and then I will now remember that there's a stronger advantage than the one I'd written. You don't understand what I mean by that? Let me explain. The way writing works is this. Writing is a deeper and intelligent collection of our thoughts. If you enter into the mind of human being, this is how our mind is. We have ideas interlocked there as junks. So when you write, writing helps you to unwire the clogs of your mind. That's why people that write, an average writer, are intelligent people, because it gives them capacity to understand their mind. So when you want to understand a concept or understand yourself very well, start to write out your emotions, your feeling, your thoughts, your perspective. So writing gives you liberty to express. So the reason why you must jot down the point is that when you jot down point 1, point 2, it will help you to mine out 0.3, and then you will now see that even 0.3 is what is weightier than what 0.2. You will now use 1 and 3. Do you understand that view very well now? So even if you have to write 2 advantages, try to write what 3, and then try to weigh them very well. And when also writing, you must take note that point 1 and 3 that you have chosen are not trying to say the same thing in different ways. You know, there's a way that our points 1 and your next point, they are saying the same thing but in different ways. They must be mutually exclusive. They must not have any point of meeting. So if they are saying, let's say I say nurses are I want to say nurses are bad now. I want to agree that they are bad. Now say number 1, they are mean. They are mean, that means they are wicked, Abi. Number 2, they easily get hungry. You know that in me explaining they be wicked and they being they getting easily angry, I may end up going toward like I'm just repeating the same thing different way. You do understand? So I don't want to use mean and angry. I will put angry and mean and use them together as one explanation. Do you understand me? But let's say I say number 1, they are mean. So under being mean and wicked, I now explain how they can show anger. You understand me? So under this one, I could say many of them act unprofessional. Did you see the difference now? This is clearly cut away from what being mean and what anger and being angry. So you must understand how to give points that are mutually exclusive, so that your second body paragraph is not repeating what you are writing in your first body paragraph. They are different. So this thing, you will get to understand them when you are doing your planning stage. Your reading, your understanding, your interpretation, and the last part is what you apply. So the application brings you to the writing phase. So you must not make mistake with your once you misinterpret a point in Hyatt writing task 2, you have lost the mark for task achievement. Don't forget that there are 4 marking guide. There are 4 aspects of writing. Like if your examiner is actually marking you, he marks you based on 4 aspects in writing and speaking. Hope you know that. So under writing, he marks you based on 4 aspects. He marks you based on number 1, task achievement. Please, if you don't know this, you're not even set for the exam. So if the examiner wants to grade your mark for writing, number 1, he marks your what? Task achievement. What is task achievement? Task achievement means number 1, that you write up to what? 250 words if it's task 2, or 150 if it's what? Task 1. Number 2, meaning of this task achievement is that you are able to cover all the sides. Your argument touches what? All the aspects of the question. Number 3 is that what? Is logical. You understand? Like the point you are giving is actually like it's eating the cross of the matter. So anybody that does this has missed mark for what? Task achievement. That means they are expecting B, you were giving them A. You could now get the other. Now, I said there are 4 cadres that are being examined for in IELTS writing, task achievements. They will also examine your vocabulary and lexics. Are you getting me? So they will also, so I said vocab and what? Lexical. They will also examine your coherence and cohesion. Coherence and cohesion. And the 4th part is that what? They will examine your GRA, grammatical range and what? Accuracy. These 4 things, grammatical range and accuracy, they will examine your task achievement, your coherence and cohesion, your vocabulary and lexics, and your grammatical range. See, once you commit this blunder, under this score, you will get very low band, because this is how they mark writing For each of this description, or I call it marking scheme, you have 0 to 9 for each of them. This one too, 0 to 9. This one too, 0 to 9. This one too, 0 to 9. Did you get that? So if I had misinterpreted my question here, I cannot get more than maybe 3 here. Did you get me? Out of 9. Because I have good expression, they might give me good mark under grammar. So that means I will not get 0. But in the long run, it will be difficult for me to get up to 5 or 6. But if you need 7, you don't want to waste any aspect of your description. Do we understand that now? Good. So let's see something else again. Let's see something else again that we should focus on. Misinterpretations of the key elements. But aside from this, let me check something else again that's also very, very important. Now, that students get to make as mistakes. The second one is this: unclear thesis statement. What is thesis statement? You know, of course, when they give you your taxo writing, like you could check our Telegram page. I posted one taxo writing there. You can read it for me, so I can show you thesis statement. Now, your thesis statement is the statement that shows the purpose of your what? Of your essay. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that shows that, okay, in this essay, I will be doing this. So sometimes people will have paraphrased the topic, but they will not write what? The thesis statements. Are you on the Telegram page? Please read that taxo.
Some people believe that protecting the environment should be the responsibility of politicians.
Some people believe that protecting the environment should be the responsibility of politicians.
Since individuals are too limited to make
Significant difference. Good.
to what extent
Do you agree or disagree? So that means they are asking me, I said reading, I've read, understand. So they are asking me now, okay, should the onus fall on politicians and government people to take care of environment, or individual people? So do I agree or disagree? So good. In such a statement as this, or a question as this, there are 3 steps to writing your introduction. If you want to write your introduction in Ielts, and in this class I will try and write one introduction I will write this one for you to see. You start with your general statement. Then you do the what? Paraphrase of what? Of the topic given. And then you now do what? You end this by what? By giving us what? The thesis, the purpose statement. What will that essay be about? What does the essay want to achieve? So these 3 sentences combined together form what? Your introductory paragraph. Are you with me? So one place that students feel is that, having done this, now this part is not what? Is not very important. Let me put question mark there. Not very important, but it's good. So you have written general statement, you have written paraphrase. The purpose will not now be definite. So when your purpose is not definite, it's a major mistake under content related error. Do you understand that? So you must be intentional. You must ensure that you have a very clear purpose statement. So when I am picking one question as a case study, I will write the general statement, paraphrase, and you will see how I will deliver the purpose. It must be very clear. Like, for example, now if it's agree, in this essay, I will write to support that government should be in charge of protecting the environment. Do you see that? Very clear. In the forthcoming paragraph, I shall argue in support of the fact that it should be the sole aim of individuals to what? Take care of their immediate environment. Did you see that? Or you may say, I disagree, or I oppose the mindset that the sole care of the environment should be given to the government. This means that individual has a major role to play. Full stop. Did you see? So that means I explain what the statement, what the essay would center upon. If it is discuss the merits and demerits in the forthcoming paragraph, I shall succinctly explain what the ups and downs. In the forthcoming paragraph, I shall succinctly expatiate the pros and what and the cons. In the fourth, in the coming piece, comma, or in the forthcoming paragraphs, or in this essay, I will exhaustively crystallize, just like one of our teachers used to teach students. I will exhaustively crystallize my argument that this is more weightier than this, as the case may be. So your purpose must be very clear and unambiguous in your introductory paragraph. So if it's not clear, it will be bringing down your mark in your overall score. It will be difficult for you to have 7 in your writing. So please, let's get that one enough. So content related error. Now, another error that people make regarding to content is insufficient supporting evidence. Let me say insufficient supporting sentence. Now, this one happens we are in the body. You had already finished the introduction. Now you are where? At the body paragraph. Like, we have a question that's asking, okay, do you support that government should be the one in charge of environment? If you are saying yes to that, and you have said that at the introduction, now you are in the body. You want to now give us reason, Abi, why it should be the government. And now said, firstly, government should be responsible because they collect taxes from what? From the people. That's a nice point. Is it not so? Like, they collect taxes from the people. Good point. But it must not stop there. I should now what? I should corroborate that tax with what? With more and more sentences. Do you understand me? For example, I should be able to go on to say, firstly, government should be solely responsible for taking care of our environment because the major proceeds from the environment in terms of industry, factory work, and other business ventures goes to the government as tax. Did you see? That is my point, main point. But it doesn't stop there. I will now go to support it with what? Sentence by saying, okay, this is because individuals work with limited funds, but government, most of them, has so much access to funds that come from different people who had submitted or probably remitted their taxes to them. For example, Lagos State recorded about 2.8, you may just put $1 billion in a monthly revenue. It doesn't have to be a factual something, just give something that looks realistic. 2.8 billion naira in a monthly revenue, which is far enough for her to take care of the lands and other resources of the states. Now, that example I gave and the first statement I used to explain are what are supporting sentence to my main point. So when you give your main point, you must ensure that you explain it further and you give an example. If possible, you might even explain it with two sentences before giving example. So that means if I would help you to do this, I will give you a formula. This is the formula. Your body paragraph has this formula. Start with your what? Your main point, and then put full stop after it. Then explain it. Explain the main point. You may like to explain it like rephrasing it, like saying it better in a better way, or something like that is, or this means, like you want to explain it further. So in explaining it, you may want to talk about the cause, the reason, or the implication of your main point. That's the meaning of that okay, I said okay, firstly it should be the legal responsibility of the government to what, to take care of the environment for citizens. Full stop. By this I mean that, this is further explanation. By this I mean that the government should be generous enough to ensure that every activities that has to do with sanitation, social amenities, cleanliness, and preservation of natural resources should be the sole work or responsibility of people in governance and politicians. This is, so I explain further by listing the major area that they should cover. So I mentioned sanitation, I mentioned preservation of natural resources, protection of animals, stuff like that. So this is me explaining it further. I will now go again by adding a reason. The reason for this is not far-fetched. The government has the coffers that receives millions of naira in taxes from individuals. This is like me supporting. For example, so I want to say, for instance, a country could be generating over trillions of naira or dollars as taxes yearly. Where does this money go? Do you understand that now? And so that is me. So I want to use main point to explain. This could be two sentences, 2 to 3 sentences, as you are able to. You give the reason, you give the cause, you give stuff to explain more, and then you now give a case study. So with this kind of pattern, you will not fall prey of this error. Do you understand? So now another thing that might bring down people's score under content is when they don't have a rounded point. Let me explain that one to you. Please, if your essay is opinion, you must not miss this fourth one. Lack of counter argument. You know, when you are writing opinion essay, they say, do you agree or what? Disagree. Your first point, you agree. Your second body, you also agree, Abi. But before you now conclude, you have to draw a chiaroscuros. I call it chiaroscuros. You paint a light and black contract of your arguments. Let me explain to you. So this is introduction. You have body 1, you have body 2, you have your balance, and you have your conclusion. What this means is that you want to be intentional. You want to be intentional, very, very much intentional, at ensuring that if you are writing opinion essay should please pause a bit. So I was talking about, are you set now? So I was talking about counter arguments. Now, counter argument comes under opinion essay. And the reason why it comes under opinion essay is because they give you, do you agree or what? Disagree. So when you just paint one side alone, it's okay actually. Okay, I agree all throughout. It's good. But you wouldn't have displayed the depth of your wisdom without saying something about the other side. So that's why if you want to write opinion essay very well, you should have 5 paragraphs. Your introduction, your body 1, your body 2, your balance. This balance is the what? Is a counter argument. So this your body 1, you agree, abi, as the case may be. Here it was also what? You also agree. Here, you now try to balance yourself before coming to your conclusion. For example, let's say they say discipline is the best thing that can happen to a child. Do you agree or disagree? Oh, I say, okay, yeah, I agree. Here in my introduction, I have done that at the introduction. But the 1, I will give 1 point abi why discipline is the best. So I will say discipline forms a sense of responsibility in a child from early childhood. So that is my point here. So I could now explain further. Then I will come to number 2. Discipline is a bedrock of academic excellence and success in every aspect of life. Another point I will also explain, abi. So I've sang the praise of discipline here and discipline here in my first body and second body. At my balance, I say, however, as much as discipline is the key thing in a child's growth, it is also important to ensure that we do not take discipline to extreme points where a child could feel brutalized because we want him or her to do a thing. Full stop. Did you see how I'd balanced it? Have I said discipline is bad? No. I'm still saying discipline is good. I'm still on my point. But I had brought a counter. I had painted an holistic view, a rounded and robust explanation. Like this one in our front now. However, I said government, abi. However, it is sheer irresponsibility when everything is left to the governance. Do you get that? By this, I mean that individuals also have what? Limited roles to play in ensuring a safe and clean environment. I've not changed my perspective that what it should be the role of the government, but I'm just saying we should not leave everything on them. That is counter argument. So if you are writing opinion and you refuse to put this in, you are going to be committing this error under content related mistakes. Do we get that? So the next error aside from this, let me see, that one is language related mistakes. Language related mistakes. So now, for you not to make this kind of mistakes, what should you do? I would advise you before the exam. It's already very close to the exam. If you are watching this video, maybe like a week, 2 or 2, or probably even if you are even in this class. So my advice for you now is this: read template essay. That's the solution. Study template essay. So that means get in contact with us for band 9 essays. Mr. Omolade, band 9 essays that other people have written, band 9, band 8, band 8.5, and try to study and see how they escape these issues. So as you study, I'm not saying read now, like you are studying their sentence one by one, that paragraph one by one, to see how they escape this. It will give you a mental understanding, like a mental picture of how to now frame any essay that you meet on the exam day. So that's very, so study template essays. Now, so I go to the second major issues that students make on taxo writing. But before I go, is there any question on this content related one? Any question on the content related one? Okay, there's no. So I have the language related. Now this one is like the word in the holy book that says, if the foundation is destroyed, what shall the highest teacher do? That is this aspect. There are people that have basic elementary challenge that I am supposed to go and arrest their primary school teacher and charge the person and go and say, EFCC, please go and help me carry the primary school teacher of this candidate, because you have done a deep damage to the literary background of this person. That's why I've seen somebody when I was in Lautech, or in fact even over different schools, like I've seen people that they are PhD holders, not like mommy, PhD holders that cannot express themselves in simple and correct English. They are very sound in their field, but when it comes to expressing this English, no, they be calling past present, present past. So this aspect is not what we can work on within a week. So if you have deficiency in this area, the best thing is to intentionally write and submit as much essays to your tutor, and allow them to give you feedback on the mistakes you are making. And on those mistakes you are not just getting feedback, get to understand the principle behind those mistakes, principle behind the errors you are making. That's the only way that you can have solutions in it. So language related errors, this one cannot be overemphasized. Now please, this part now, in my own experience with people or with students, let me just give major part. For example, grammatical errors. Now, under this aspect, people make issues with subject verb agreement. Have issues with this subject verb agreement. It comes over and over and over. Subject verb agreement, and I cannot overemphasize this. Things like, and you know the funny thing about writing and speaking, there's no way you can express yourself without using subject verb. So it keeps on coming for people that have this error. Keep on applying different, like it keeps. It is the subject there. The keeps is what? Is the verb, abi? Because the subject is singular, the verb has to ask what? S. Though it's a singular verb. Plural noun, we have S. But singular verb is the one that has S. Understand what I'm saying? She keeps coming every time. It keeps happening every time. They keep coming to us every day. So when you are using plural subjects, the verb will not have S. But if you are using singular subject, especially if you are referring to something in the third person, the verb will have S. Education changes. Politics influences. Love inflicts pain on the heart. Inflicts. Do you see? And so when you are talking about a concept, an idea, and that idea is singular, the verb must have s. So I advise people to read about subject verb agreement a lot. And here too, pronoun issue. This one I cannot overemphasize it. You are writing about children. You now say, like you have said, government should ensure that children are taken care by parents. uh, no, government should ensure that a child is taken care of by their parents. Did you see that? Government should ensure that a child, or okay, let me even say it better. Government should ensure that children take care of their children. Full stop. um because he or she, you're not referring to children now. You had forgotten that it was children that you wrote in the last line. So this one cannot be he or she. If you are writing a child, you may say he or she, but you say children, this will be because they. So when you use a noun, in making reference to that noun, even sentences after, you must not forget the right pronoun to use. So most times we make that mistakes in our writing, that you will have used a pronoun or a plural or singular subject. In now making reference to that same subject, you will now use a different pronoun, probably a singular as against a plural. So please, you must take note of your pronoun so much when expressing your task 2 writing and task 1 writing. It cannot be overemphasized. So my bet here is that just go on Google and look for Concord. Concord. Concord would give you about 25 to 30 rules of English, and this English will help you in your speaking and your writing. Concord. So this Concord, we all did it in our secondary school, but they have rules that sometimes if you have read it for a long time, some of them might have slipped off your fingers. So our advice was to revise Concord very well to ensure that this part, the errors are limited, really in this part. So yeah, that this part basically. So another part that I want to drop is vocabulary. This one, vocabulary. Now, I cannot overemphasize this part. Why? Because in your marking scheme, there's a whole section for what? Vocabulary and lexics. So that means if you are writing task 2 writing, it's not enough that you can express yourself. You should also be able to chip in less common expressions, less common vocabulary. So if you don't, like, since students now know that they have to give less common, some of them will now be using vocabulary that they are not especially sure of the collocation that works with it. I'm not oblivious with, you should be what? Oblivious of. So it's not just enough that, oh, I'd use a big grammar. You must know the other word that works with it. So once I will expatiate further. Further is already inside expatiate. Sure, you get it. So we must be able to ensure that when you're using your vocabulary, that those big vocab, be sure that you know how to apply them well, so that it will not be like tautology, repetition. So it's very, very now, because this one now leads to the third error, which is spelling error under this part. Because people want to impress examiners with their writing, they end up using vocabularies that they are not sure of how it's spelled. They want to just write, they will just remember one language that they are teacher used to incorrigible. They will not go and write incorrigible there, and the incorrigible they do not even know this spelling. So don't let us go and be using incorrigible. If you are not sure of the spelling, don't use. Just use something simple, something very easy, something that you can just work with for your exam. Simple. Don't try to impress nobody. If you are not sure, use another synonym that you are very sure of. So, and for spelling, what is the major cause of spelling error? I tell you, is lack of reading habit, good reading habit. When you are not the type that read often, what happens is this: the spelling that you knew before, they will start to now confuse you. Have you ever been in a place before that you want to write normal thing like even school, just be there, just not have some, please can you help me with school? That person will just look at you like, this person, okay, SCH 00, okay, let me even tell you 00, not even O, so that at least you can be sure of the spelling. Then hell, double O hell. But like, it has happened to me before in the exam. That's why everybody needs to be very careful. Sometimes it might not be because you had not been reading. It might just be just some form of mental seizure that for that moment you will now leave that place. The thing, school will now come back. School, where have you been all of this? Why? So, but if you are somebody that reads enough, you will have used another synonyms to bail yourself out at that time. So good. So here's my take about spelling. Try to read as much as possible. Read articles, read BBC News, read CNN News, read literary materials on your way to Ielts. Why? So that when you write any word, if it's just only one alphabet that is missing there, an alarm will set up in your heart. Something will just tell you, this thing, this thing, something is not right about it. You won't be like, you will not be able to write the correct one, but you will just know that it seems that something is not complete there. I'm not sure if it's OUS or IOUS. Just so like there's something. So at that point, what do? You just remove and use something better. After the exam, you may now go and check. So it's very important, because even if you are doing CBT, they would ensure that they have deactivated dictionary or probably autocorrect on it, so you won't be able to see there's now CBT suggesting for you to autocorrect. No, there won't be all of those. So I want to encourage us to read towards the exam, so that as you are reading intentionally, when there are issues, your mind will pick it that this one I'm not sure, just remove it, write the one you are sure of. Don't allow, because when you have so much spelling mistake in your essay, you will give a wrong impression to your marker, to the examiner. Even if you are reading something that was 7.5, it will give you like 6, because you feel like you want to write school, you're writing shoe. You want to write accommodation, is writing ACOMO. Because is this one secondary school? And so you should be intentional to ensure that you limit your spelling mistakes to the barest minimum for the language related errors. Is very, very important, because language related error can actually paint you to be somebody else that you are better off in the exam. So then let me talk about structure and organization. Structure and organization. I cannot overemphasize this, guys. Now, the first thing that the examiner sees about your essay is the structure. Under this, some of us that see, let me start with handwriting here. Handwriting. A lot of medical doctors have failed IELTS because of, you know how medical doctors used to write their drugs prescription. They want to write Panadol. chloroquine. You want to write as a clean 6 milligram. We are taught several doctors over the years, and we have seen somebody that failed, like even not even somebody, about 3, 4, 5 of them, that the reason why they couldn't pass their highest writing till today is this. I'm talking people who are consultants. They have the head, but this one, the hand is not. Sure you get, don't mind me. So that means you must, but thank God for CBT now. CBT is going to really help people like that. But in the era of paper, they are going nowhere with something like this. So please, I cannot overemphasize, because the very first thing that somebody will see, somebody who is marking maybe like hundreds of paper, and he or she enters your own and he says, where do I even start? I'm sure you would just firstly put this, like, let me put this one under. Let me put this one under. At least once I'm done with everything, I will know that this I have something to go and battle with. For now, I don't want to give my head a headache. So the handwriting is very, very important, and this is a last paper test for many of us. We cannot overemphasize these aspects for your writing. So please, you cannot underestimate this. So, but for CBT, you may be exempted, but for paper, you are not exempted. So this is very important. Then the second one is paragraphing. Now, there are two major paragraphs. There's the block and there's the indentation. Now, if this is your book margin, there should be a line like this on it, and then you have the normal lines like this. So, but if you are on system, you will just have it like this normally. So, and then you have your cursor here. So if this is the paper, this is CBT, this is the paper, and then I also use this opportunity to also teach you how to do word count without counting in the exam, because it's very important, very fast, so that you have to now start counting. And so let's assume this paper in the exam, this is CBT. For block paragraphing, you will start from the margin and you will end at the margin. For your first paragraph, you start like this, start like this, start like this, start like this, and you end here. So if you are now going to your second paragraph, you will leave a whole line, and now again start from margin to margin. That's block. But if you are using, so this is block style now, block style. But if you are using indentation, as simple as this thing is, SARS and maths, we have seen students that know it and still miss it in the exam out of tension. And I will tell you the two tensions that happen to people there. It's either they started, their default is the secondary school style. What's the secondary school style they taught us? Indentation. That's their default. But in the class, they've seen that block is neat. It looks beautiful. So they have now told themselves, in the exam I will use block. But they have been used with indentation. So they will start with block for the first paragraph. By the time they are done with the introduction, they have forgotten their mind. They have come back to their default, which is what? Indentation. So only for them to finish, they will just see mixture, block, indentation, block, indentation. And it's already too late. And some might not even discover, they will just submit like that. So for structure, missed. So don't combine. If you're going to use indentation, just stick with indentation, start here, and then the rest. So if you are now coming to the second one, ensure that you go with almost the same words width. So you get. Don't now come here now and start another indentation here or move inside. No, it should be almost the same size of gap for your indentation. So ensure that your paragraphing is very, very okay. And for the organization too, there's contents under paragraphing. So let me talk about two contents in paragraphing. Now, firstly, the purpose of paragraphing is both for aesthetics and arrangement. Now, your content ensure that if you are introducing, you're introducing hence in one paragraph. Don't go and introduce and now continue. You know, of course, you have introduced your point. You now enter body one again and said, what's the meaning of politics for the first thing? Politics is a governance. You have to just go straight to your main point in the body paragraph, not that you now start explaining. Firstly, what's the definition of governance? Let us explain governance. Just go to your main point in the body paragraph. And in your body paragraph should have one major idea. Don't mix them together, so that if the examiner looks at paragraph B, it should be okay. This one is agree, next one is disagree, this one is this. Don't mix up points together. So if you have merit here, this merit, under is demerit, then this conclusion. Introduction, merit, demerit, conclusion. If it is let me give you the structure. Okay, because of time, let me just give us structure for all of the essay types. Oh, I like how it's writing. So it has its own structure. Your introduction, Abi. Introduction is body one. After introduction, you have body one, Abi, which is what? Which is view A, Abi. Then body two is what? View B. Do you see for your discussion essay? The first part is your introduction. The second paragraph is what? Your body one, explaining the one view. Your third paragraph is what? Explaining the second view. Is that okay? So if they ask you, discuss both view, full stop, you will just go to what? Conclusion. That's all. But if they ask you, discuss both view and give your opinion, then you have your opinion here as another paragraph, making 5. You get that? This paragraphing. So each of the paragraph has definite reason, definite thing they are doing. You are not modeling them up. They are different on their own. Do we get that? If you have direct question, what's direct question? Another name is what? Double question, which they will kind of match all of those other thoughts. Like you might see opinion match with advantages. You might see this. You might see them match cost and advantage together. Like, what is the cost of this, and what is the advantages of the issue? That's what double question. You will see them match either of those essay types together in one. Like something like medical professionals are leaving the country in droves rather. Why is this? Is this a positive development? Do you see that they're asking you cost plus what? Advantage or disadvantages. So that's a double-edged question. What do you do? So that one is called double question, or you call it direct what? Question. So for that, you have your introduction, you have your body one, you have body two, and you also have your what? Your conclusion. So at your body one, you will discuss what? The cause why they are what? Leaving the country. The cause. We discuss the first question as the case may be, because they ask you 2 questions, Abi. Give the answer to the first question here. Then here what? Give the answer to what? To the second question, which is what? Which is the if it is positive or negative. Then here conclude. Simple. Oh, did you see that paragraphing is not just for just aesthetics? It should have like it has particular purpose. Like each of it should have a major aspect that is dealing with. At this introduction now, if I want to write my purpose, after I have paraphrased, I will say in this essay, I will be discussing the factors or the reason why medical personnel are no longer comfortable staying in the country. And I will explain if and why this is not a good development for the country. So before now coming here and say, firstly, or to start with, one major cause of this is, if I like, I may now discuss 2 causes in this body. I may discuss two, where maybe demerits or merits here, as the case may be. Two here, or I may use one here, but I will not explain, ensure that I have enough supporting sentence, or I argue with two reasons here, as the case may be. So there's always a structure for it. If they tell you advantages and what advantages, what are the advantages and disadvantages of this? Nurses are leaving the countries every day. What are the merits and demerits? I will write here two merits. Here we write what? Two demerits. Conclusion. Simple. Did you get that? But if they ask me, do the merits of this what outweigh the demerits? That one is something else. So it is the way the question is that will determine how the paragraph will look like. In that one, I will give two body to explain why there's merit, and just one body for the merit. You don't understand? They said, is the merit of this, do the merit outweigh the demerit? If I feel that the demerit is more than the merit, like the bad side is more than the good side, so I will do like this. So I have my introduction, body 1, body 2, body 3, conclusion. So I will give one bad side, another bad side, to show that it's actually a bad side. I would have what? Remember the counter argument. Do you remember? So however, we cannot fully blame these professionals, because what everybody wants is a good life and fulfillment in their career, which many of them seems to get in the nations they are migrating to. Did you see how this now is a counter, like a balance? But see, my body paragraph has tilted towards the fact that what? So I may not say, in now ending this, I may say, however, the demerit it has caused in their home country is something that is so weighty and heavy to bear. In conclusion, so paragraphing is like an order, is like a guide. It guides your examiner who is marking you. It also guides you too, as a person who want to write the essay. Do you understand that? So good. So let's see. Hope nobody is sleeping. Please help me tap that. So good. See, under that structure, there is something called linkers. I did mention, I said paragraphing and writing, then linkers. These linkers are very, very important. Things like however, moreover, on the other hand, furthermore, you must know how to use them intentionally. For example, now, you cannot use however when, okay, let's say you have agree and disagree now, and you are agreeing. Body 1 is agreeing, body 2 is also what? Agreeing. You have used firstly here, you now still use however. Yeah. You want to agree in the two. This should be what? Furthermore. It is in your balance that you can use what? However. You understand that? When you want to counter the points, that's when but for these two that are facing the same direction, you can only use moreover, however, furthermore for the second one. But if you are using discussion essay is view A, view B. So view A could be on the other hand to start, while the next one will be what? On the one hand, while the next one will not be what? On the other hand. To show that they are going two different directions. Or you say firstly, now come and say, albeit. Or you say however, or you say nevertheless for the second paragraph, to show contrast. So for your personal study, you want to go and check the different kinds of linkers that we have. We have linkers for supporting a sentence. You have linkers for contrast. And this will also help you in your speaking so much, because this task 2 writing is akin to discussion part of your speaking IELTS. So it's very, very important that we balance that. So let me try to round up for the writing task 2. Okay, good
Under the
question.
point you just finished, you
Okay.
made mention of something that you're going to explain how you can easily count.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. And so counting of words under structure. Now, how do you count? Now, if you're writing paper exams, you don't really need to worry yourself. Now, if your handwriting is not extra large, now how do I mean, or what do I mean by extra large? If you are writing up to 10 words per line, it's not too large, like it's not too big. Because your exam book is larger than this surface, like it's wider than this surface rather. So that means if you could have like 10, at least 10 words on that line, by the time you have written the front page and you have written 2/3 of the back page, like half of the back page, half and a bit more than half, you have already written close to 300 words, provided that you did not cancel out anything in the front. If you are writing the whole of the front page, no, the whole of the front page will not be a full page. You understand why? Because there's a part for you to write your name and everything in the front, but the back page is a full page. By the time you are writing the whole of the front page and you are writing more than half of the back, you had already fulfilled your 250 words. 250 words, provided that per line your average is not less than, let me put it, 8 to 10. 8 to 10. Because all you have to write is what is just 250 words. But don't write less than 2, because if you write less than 250 for task 2, they will penalize you with a ban less than yours. So if you have to write half 7, they will give you 6.